Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we'll take a look at a revolutionary new map company that's changing the way people share their favorite places for special events. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, maps have been around for thousands of years. I'm sure that the cavemen had them on the walls of their caves, sketching out where the river was, and X marks the spot. But if you don't keep ahead of the map game, you get outdated. We all remember what it was like when we were kids, when the station wagon and mom and dad would pull over to the service station to get the old map. Things are blazing ahead, and then of course now we all have maps at our fingertips on our phones. But somebody who is shaking up the traditional map world is Rachel LeRoy. She is the founder and owner of HipMaps. Rachel, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I am fascinated by what you just launched, and your company just launched like a week ago. So tell everybody what you do.
Well, I create custom maps for hosts to share their recommendations with their guests. And that could be favorite places to eat, restaurants, coffee shops, could be favorite walks or hikes, breweries, wineries, whatever the host wants to share with their guests. And I turn it into a beautiful map in their style. And then their guests can see their location right on the map on their smartphone using our new app. And so they can see where they are in relation to what is being offered to them by their host and what is being suggested, the favorite places. And then they can get directions and they can see a little description, what's the best burger in town, right on the smartphone app.
I think that is absolutely brilliant. We're going to run a little video of you making a custom map for a wedding. But you're right. When you get invited to a wedding, sometimes the bride and groom will give you a list, but then you have to go into your phone and actually, plug it in. This makes it so simple, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really takes out that step of looking up reviews on Yelp and TripAdvisor and then finding them in Google Maps or Apple Maps on your phone. And it's also a personal connection between, in this case, a wedding with their favorite places, their recommendations of what to do in the hours outside of the actual event. And this could be said for reunions and business events and retreats, conferences, anything like that. These, sharing your recommendations have many applications.
Well, I'm fascinated how companies are born. When did this idea come to you?
Well, right before the pandemic shut down the whole U.S. and everyone canceled their weddings. So that was a good learning experience. And I took most of last year figuring out what worked and what didn't, and decided to build my own app so that I could make things very, very simple. And here I am. I just launched.
That's amazing. We're going to run a little video of a custom winery map. Tell us the functionality as we're watching this video. So a person just pulls up their phone and it's already loaded on their phone?
Yeah, they get an access code. So they download my app and then they get an access code from the host. And that could be, the dog name or something, whatever it is. And then the host's map pops up right into the app, and if they're within the area, they'll see their location. And if they're halfway across the country, they can zoom to their current location and see it right on the app and zoom back to the map. And wineries are where this all started. I've been making maps for wineries for many years, and I sort of expanded out from wineries because I live in wine country. So there's a lot of great wine around here.
Now, I know a lot of people come up with ideas, but they never take action on them. I'm proud of you for jumping out there into the great abyss of entrepreneurship. What's been the reaction to the app so far when you're talking to your friends?
Oh, there's a lot of excitement around it. And there's also a lot of, people, once they understand what it is, they go, why doesn't this exist already? I can't believe this doesn't exist already. This is such a great idea. You're taking the phone, which everyone always has their phone on them, and putting something beautiful and functional and useful into the phone. And of course, these maps can always be printed if someone doesn't have a smartphone. Not going to say grandma doesn't have a smartphone, but sometimes grandma comes to the wedding and she doesn't have a smartphone, and these maps are able to be printed for her as well.
What were some of the challenges getting this app off the ground? Because I'm not technical at all. It sounds like you might be. Were there any bumps in the road?
Yeah, I hired a developer who wasn't quite the right fit at first. And so then I hired a company in Ann Arbor, Michigan called KW Works, and they knocked it out of the park. So my bumps in the road happened early where I didn't quite vet the first developer. And thankfully, the folks at KW just were such a perfect fit, and they knew what to do. They made great suggestions for how to improve my ideas, and brought it all together and launched it out to the world.
Well, I think your timing is perfect because everything's reopening. You're in Sonoma, and you just told me before we went on air that you guys are reopened as well. So weddings are back on, wine tours are back on. People are, there's a lot of pent-up demand, isn't there?
Yeah. And I can make a map anywhere in the world. So no matter what the status of opening up is, I can make a map for anywhere. And I also like to make these maps for hotels and vacation home rentals, because those are the kind of places where, I want a map like this when I rent a vacation rental home at a lake or a mountain house and want to know where's the good stuff in that area.
Absolutely. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to make a prediction right now. I think you're going to build this thing up, and then Google's going to buy it, or Mark Cuban's going to buy it, and you're going to be a very wealthy young lady. So,
well, thank you.
You bet. We're going to end with your website. It's hipmaps.com. Love the name. Rachel LeRoy, founder and owner of HipMaps. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.